most importantly, it robs you of that really restorative REM sleep. So there's 3 specific ways that alcohol affects you though, and also might help explain what a hangover is the next day. I am doing a deep dive, folks, into Matthew Walker's book, Why We Sleep. If I can share one thing with you that is a self-care rock star, it is to really get a handle on what is sleep. As we as a human species are evolving, how has our sleep evolved? Self-care, right? Plato, know thyself. Love that quote, right? Memorize that puppy. Know thyself, know thyself. Being a yes in a sea of no. Could I find some hidden secret? Could it even save the planet? We're gonna break down each one of those, why they're on the list, and what's happening out in society with that one thing, because it affects all areas of life. Thing number 1 is alcohol is a sedative. And I know you hear the word sedative and you're like, well, yeah, that's gonna put me to sleep. That makes so much sense. But sedation is not the same as natural sleep. And here's how. That sedative actually just quiets the brain during NREM sleep. It's just quiet, right? Which sounds like such a good thing, right? You're like, well, I'm sleeping. I don't want it to be quiet, don't I? Right? But NREM sleep, your brain waves are kind of doing this up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. But after alcohol, it's just quiet, right? And that NREM sleep is so restorative, right? It's part of your cycle in your body. And literally, something is changing. So that disruption to your sleep in and of itself is gonna not feel good the next morning because you're disturbing what your body wants to do. Your brain during NREM is sending pulses. You can see it on like a graph. It sends its pulses out and then it goes quiet. It sends pulses out and then it goes quiet. Back and forth, right? But on alcohol, it's just flat, right? So whatever that activity is, you're not getting it in that period of time. And then the second one is alcohol triggers your fight or flight. What? Imagine you might not wake up, you sleep through that triggering, right? You just slept right through it. But it is what's going on in your brain, right? If it's triggering your fight or flight, just imagine what that's like when you're awake and what it does to you, right? Right? You're just constantly doing that with fight or flight, right? It's so abrupt. So you're doing that to your brain when you've had alcohol before you go to sleep. That's happening in your sleep. That's getting triggered. So as you can imagine, that is disturbing your sleep. The number 3 thing is that it blocks REM sleep. It's all that dreamy stuff, REM sleep, that's really great for creativity. It's great for handling your emotions. It's great for your mental wellness. That REM sleep, it's just so valuable, right? Matthew Walker is just doing a memory association, how your brain breaks down memories. So your brain, each night of a sleep, is adding more detail and refining, and adding more detail and refining, right? So he uses an example of somebody on a Wednesday night, or a Wednesday, that studies for a big exam that's next week, right? And the first night, his buddies ask him to go out and have drinks. He's like, no, I studied all day, I'm exhausted, I'm going to bed. Second night, they ask him again, hey, come out for drinks with us. And he's like, oh, I worked out this afternoon, I'm tired, I'm going to bed. Now, each of those nights, night 1 and night 2, his brain is reprocessing the information he learned Wednesday morning, right? It is redefining, it is associating, it is pulling things from your past to go, oh, it's kind of like that. All helping memorize your memory, how you remember things, right? But it takes 3 sleeps to really master that content from Wednesday. So Friday, his buddy's like, it's Friday night, come out and have drinks with us. And he does. Well, he's not gonna get the full mastery of that content that he learned on Wednesday afternoon because on Friday night he went out drinking, right? Because it's gonna block those things, like I said, right? His brain's not gonna do its job to get that 3rd mastery of that content from Wednesday. So I went ahead and I just did a little experiment because it turned out this past weekend I had 28 pages of sides to learn, which is not normal. Trust me, if you're actor watching this, I get it. That's not normal. It was abnormal, right? It's still a lot, but 3 auditions, but still, that was a lot of pages. So I was like, well, I guess I should be really looking at the content or my sides as soon as I get them. So they get as many sleeps in me as I have available, right? And sometimes they might give me a week and I might, wait a couple days. Maybe I'm working on something else. But now I'm not gonna do that, right? I'm just, no matter what, I'm gonna look at those sides the very first day I get them, so I get as many sleeps in me as I can before I actually have to do the audition. And so that's what I did this past week. I got all that stuff on Friday. I had Friday night sleep, Saturday night sleep, Sunday night sleep, and then I recorded Monday and Tuesday mornings. And I let my body help me out. And I gotta tell you, memorized all 28 pages. Blew me away. I was like, oh, I guess I can do that. I love surprising myself about what I can and cannot do. But just think about, how will this adjust if you've got to give a speech at your daughter's wedding, or you want to go on YouTube and do a video of your own, right? Or you've got to go give a presentation at work, right? Or you're in school, you're in school and you've got to give an oral presentation as a project. Whatever that is, if you give yourself 3 sleeps, you're just giving yourself your own assets, right? Which is your REM sleep and your NREM sleep, to really process and master that information. You just straight up making it easier on yourself, right? So that's alcohol and sleep, right? And a little bit about your memory too, and how it's working at night for you. It's a little powerhouse it's right there in your back pocket. So go grab it and get a good night's sleep. All right, what's next?